Hello, beautiful souls. Thanks for being back here with me. If you don't know already, my name is Tina Dodds from Quantum Healing with Tina and Karen. I'm a Beyond Quantum Healing practitioner, spirit releasement therapist, intuitive empath, and remote spirit release practitioner. And today I'm going to share with you a tandem BQH session that Karen and I did recently with a beautiful soul who is just beginning her awakening. She just woke up this year when all of the COVID stuff started going on and was drawn to Dolores's works, which have helped her to really start to understand why things happen the way they do, right? Because up until the point when we awaken, we just feel like a victim to the world and don't have the understanding of why all these seemingly crazy things happen in our lives. She currently resides in England, but grew up in Zimbabwe, Africa, in a really tribal kind of community with old customs and occult rituals and things like that. And she wanted more healing, more clarity, more understanding of what she chose as her current life lessons. If there's anything she's not understanding, she wanted to have more clarity on the relationships and people in her life. So we went in with that intention. Oh, and she also had some very strong fears of the dark specifically and of spiders. And these fears were so strong that she had to actually sleep with the light on. So that was one of the major things she wanted to address and find out about. So you'll see that this, I don't want to tell you too much, but you'll see that the first scene opens up and it explains all of those things, and even some of the relationships in her life that were actually turned out to be really good, loving, supportive people. Like, she was shown that not everything was bad. You know, not everything had a negative spin, that she did have loving and supportive people in her life. And even though she hasn't thought about them much, they were there. So it opens, that first scene opens up, and you'll see that Patricia is blank. She's completely doesn't see anything. So Karen relives that scene for her because, and this is because her higher self isn't going to give her anything that she can't handle, right? So a lot of times that will happen in our tandem sessions, especially when people are just beginning their journeys and just learning what it feels like to connect with their higher selves. So a lot of times what will happen is our client will just be in a peaceful, calm state, and or in, say, like floating in space, or being in a peaceful scene on a beach, or seeing the blue sky. And they will stay in that peaceful place while Karen takes the reins and revisits that scene for them and relives those things for them, so that they don't have to go back there and do that again. Because, as Patricia said, she couldn't have done that because her fear was just too much. So part of her fear was also blocking her from seeing those things. And this is the magic of having a BQH session, because Karen is able to see the things that our clients are too afraid to address, but that need to be addressed, because those are the things that we need to heal the most. The things that we're afraid of are the things that we need to heal the most. And you know, sometimes that fear is so strong within us that it blocks us from actually seeing what we need to see in order to heal. And so that this session kind of demonstrates the real magic of having a hypnosis helper there, someone that can walk you through those things without you having to relive them. And you'll see we go through that scene, and it actually has a really beautiful ending. And then we move on and we visit a life that we've actually seen before, because Patricia had a bubble session, which is posted on our YouTube. It's the Lone Wolf bubble session. We revisit that as a reminder to her that she has everything she needs. And again, in that scene, she was blank, and Karen went through that for her. And then I asked specifically for her higher self to show us a scene where her and her children had been together before, because they have this really close, special relationship, and it's kind of just been the three of them for a while, because Patricia has had a lot of adversity in her life. She's overcome it all, which is just amazing. And really, this session was to remind her how much adversity she's really been through, and that she's still here and she's still doing it. There were a few themes that kept recurring throughout the session, as you'll see. And, one of them was that she has had good things happen in her life. She has had good, loving relationships with special and important people. And, sometimes we get so caught up in the negative things that happen that we forget. Kind of like those Easter eggs that are there for us to always hold on to, like these, whether it's people that are pillars of strength for us throughout our lives, as even in our childhoods as children. Maybe we have just that one grandparent that we can always go to for safety and love. Those are really blessings that we take for granted sometimes. So I feel like her higher self was just trying to remind her that not everything has been bad, and she has had really special relationships. We also see just how much of a warrior she is, this warrior spirit within her, this goddess of never broken. And that was the oracle card that I pulled for her, was the goddess of never broken, and just reminding her of that warrior spirit within her and how far she's come. So one of the scenes we also saw was Patricia had finally opened up, towards the end, and she, instead of just seeing black, she saw a blue sky, a sunny day, which to me signified that, okay, we got through the hard stuff, and now this is opening up to show her the light, really, just to show her the light, to hold her in the light. And during that scene, what Karen was seeing was that in another life, Patricia was the granddaughter of this chief. And they were doing some kind of ceremonial dance. And he was really a huge pillar of strength for her, a guide for her in that life. And he was showing her just how perfect she really is, no matter what anyone else's opinion of her was, because in that life she did have a disability. So she had that, lack of self-esteem, lack of self-confidence, and love for herself. And he was reflecting that back to her, as you'll see in this session. And we find out later that Patricia's grandfather in this life was also a chief, and he was the chief of the village, and he was her pillar of strength in this life. And she kind of forgot about that. So again, it was just reminding her of these loving and supportive people that have been around her in her life and that are still guiding her from the spirit side. And it was really just a beautiful session with themes of surrender and redemption, connection with spirit, bringing through her gifts from these other lives, these gifts of knowing and seeing and trust, starting to trust in the self. Just really, really beautiful metaphors for everyone. I mean, every session you listen to, you're going to get something from. So I hope that you get something from this session. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to say. So when we connect with the higher self, This is always a big part for people, especially when you're just starting out on your journey and you don't exactly know what connecting with your higher self feels like or is like, right? So you have your first session and you might expect it to be different than it actually is. And I talked to Patricia a lot about this before her session, and I reminded her that the answers aren't outside of her, that the higher self isn't something outside of her, that it's her own inner wisdom. So you will see her when I ask the questions. It is very, very slow during the higher self part, but you'll see why, because when I ask the questions, she breathes into it and is allowing the information to come to her. Instead of just saying, I don't know, or I don't have the answer, or it's blank, she's really just being in a state of allowing the information to come. And this is a practice, right? This is something that we need to be doing in our everyday lives, asking ourselves these questions that we want to know and listening for the answer, because that is the higher self. And when you're just beginning on this journey, you don't always know what that's supposed to feel like. And it's just really getting to know that voice. That voice is always with us. We always are connected to our higher self. So really taking that journey into that connection on an everyday basis, not just in a session. Because a lot of people think with their minds, right? That it's supposed to feel different than it actually does. That it's going to be like some magical being takes over your body and is speaking for you. But that's just not the truth of it. What is happening when we connect with the higher self is that we're connecting with our own heart space, with our own inner wisdom. I even had a client recently that said, like, how am I answering my own questions? Because you are your higher self. That's why you're answering your own questions. And that's the whole point of having a quantum healing session, is to receive these answers from the higher part of you, to be quiet and still enough to connect with that part of you. So that's what we're doing here, because no one else has or knows the answers to your questions but you. So that's the whole point of having a quantum healing session, is to reconnect with that part of you. So I love that Patricia was trusting in herself enough to allow the information to start coming through. And this was a wonderful first session. And like I tell all of my clients, like, the more you do this, the more it's not like you just have one session and you're done. You can, but usually if you keep going with the process and have them every so often, each time you're going to be more and more connected with that higher self, and the answers are going to come more easily to you. Like, you can see the difference between Patricia and Karen, because Karen, has been doing this constantly over the past year, and how quickly the information comes to her and how quickly she's able to trust that information, even though she still has doubt once in a while, as you'll hear. Sometimes she still thinks, am I just making this up? But no, like, this is how Spirit speaks with us. This is how we connect with our higher selves. So I just want to make that very clear. Like, this is a session of someone who is just awakening. It's not going to be like super cosmic and out there like a lot of the sessions you see posted online. And I'm posting this on purpose because it is beautiful, and it is a great example of a BQH session or a quantum healing session of someone who is just awakening and just learning how to connect with the higher self. A lot of practitioners post only their very best cosmic and out there sessions, and I like to really post things that are more practical, because most of my clients really are, just learning how to connect with their higher self. And their sessions are very personal. They're not bringing through lots of cosmic information. So most of my sessions go in that way where it's very personal, and not like super cosmic and out there, like bringing through information for the collective. But the reason why I share them is to show you that not every session is that way. And also because when you connect in this way to another human being that is going through this process of discovery and relearning how to connect with that higher part of them and receive the healing when they do, we all receive healing. Karen and I receive healing from our sessions just as much as the clients do. They trigger in us things that we need to heal, and we receive that healing as well. So every session you listen to is just as valuable for you as the person going through it. I know that's been true for me, watching, hundreds and hundreds of these sessions. I always feel like I received something from it, a blessing, a gift, healing, whatever that may be. So I hope that is true for you, and I hope you enjoy, this session, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
I'm not sure if it's a sunrise or sunset, but I see there's a mountain, but it's all full of greenery. I sense we're in Africa. I feel like I look like Patricia. She's got like a basket of fruit that she's just carrying around. She's got like these beautiful clothes, like drapes, seeing like a purpley pink top, very elegant. She has red lipstick, barefoot, but she's stepping on the edge of this kind of tight mountain looking. Again, I'm not sure if it's the sunrise or sunset, but it's there like in the horizon. And I just feel like she is in a peaceful state here. She has this fruit. She likes to give it out to people. She is known to be very helpful and insightful. And she knows things. She just has a knowing of things. I feel like she is, she's respected here by the people, at least like the poor people, because she takes care of them. She does her rounds and she gives them fruit. She knows where to pick the freshest and sweetest fruit to give around. This feels like it's a normal thing for her to do. And there's this man that comes to her with his dying child. It looks like this child is sick, and he's like, I need you to help. But the child is like really not looking well at all. And he's so desperate. And she's telling, like, she touches the child and she's saying, God will have mercy on her soul. Like, as if to say, like, she knew that the child was not going to make it. And the man was like really upset, like screaming at her to do something to save her. But she looked at him like, I can't, it's not up to me. And the child ends up dying right there in front of her. And the man is so upset that he runs like frantically and just points his finger at her and, calls her the witch and like blaming her for what happened to the daughter, but he was just upset because she couldn't help.
Mm-hmm.
And she was taken because it's frowned upon to be like witch, but it's not really witch, you know, she just is connected.
Mm-hmm.
And they take her because she's being blamed for this death. And she's not really resisting because she's like, well, it's not, you know, what can I do?
Mm-hmm.
Um, she was sure her family would come for her, but they ended up coming to her in the cell or something, and they shunned her. So she felt very abandoned by them
Mm-hmm.
because they really did not have her back. She was so sure that they would, but they were so they didn't want to be shunned by like their family name because of her. So it was easier to just shun her so that they would continue their reputation. And they placed her in this dark cell, very isolated. And it felt very, it was just really dark. There was no light in here. And it was cold. And it frightened her that she couldn't see. She couldn't see anything.
Mm.
And she felt like there was also like, you know, like creepy crawlies here. It's been a while that something has been here, but she could feel presence here in this little place that she can't see.
So she was actually in the dark, like it was dark, dark.
Yeah, like it was like as if it was a confinement or something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like a really old one, like that hasn't been cleaned. Like she could feel perhaps like the old soul that was there last that died in there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was dark and she wanted to get out. Then she started panicking, like I don't belong here. I didn't do anything. And I'm feeling like on my hands, because she's like sitting down, like on her hands, there's like as if they're like spiders crawling on her.
Mm.
And so she's just trying to like swat them away and trying to scream, like screaming, I can't see. I
Mm.
can't see.
Mm.
And wanting to get out. And somehow in this night, she finally, just after screaming and screaming, nothing. And it's quiet. Like you can hear like dripping water from like a broken pipe or something. And you know, there are things like crawling on her shoulders and her hair, her arms. She was able to see like a little light coming through. So she gets up again and screams again, please get me out of here. And this man comes. He seems like he was a very, I guess, I don't know, like someone in this prison or something.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked her, he's like, what did you do to that child? And she said, I did nothing. He's like, who are you to speak for God? And she's like, I didn't lie. And he's like, how did you know she was going to die? And she's like, you could see it. You could feel it. And these people are so disconnected that they couldn't understand how she could have known, even though it was so obvious to her. That he had to take her away because they put her in prison as a witchcraft or something like that. That they were so threatened by her and what she's done, or especially to a child, that they had done a procedure on her and removed her eyes and placed her back in her little place so she couldn't see anymore. So it was permanently dark in here. And she would go days screaming and screaming in agony as she would trying to understand what she did wrong. She didn't do anything wrong. They kept calling her witch. And she was terrified that she couldn't see anything. It was so dark, dark beyond dark, that she started to pray to take her. And then suddenly, this light appeared outside her cell. She was able to see it, but it confused her because it was the first time she was able to see in days. This is a bright, like a platinum light that came before her. That she had to put her hand in front of her face because of how bright it was. And she felt it in her heart that it was like the Holy Spirit. And she fell to her knees. And she's like, how can I see you? And the Spirit says to her, have you already forgotten that they may have taken your two eyes, but you really have one, the one that you can really see, the one that you can use to see, your real sight. And she felt the hands of the Holy Spirit on her, engulfing her from head to toe, strengthening her eye, that she was able to make out what it looked like where she was. She was able to see everything without any light. And so she knew that she had something. And she was able to work with this by seeing far beyond the physical. She was able to see everything. There was a day of her execution. There was a man who was supposed to execute her. And he pulls her to what looks like a courtyard. And her hands are tied as she follows him. And he tells her to go on her knees. And then she smiles at him. And he's like, what are you smiling about? And she's like, I have nothing to lose. And she's like, I know what you look like. I know your wife. And I know that there's something wrong with your child. And I could help her. But she gets kind of taken aback because she knows he hasn't told anybody this in this prison. So how could she have known since she's been in isolation? And so he looks at her, how do you know? What are you talking about, my child? And she's like, I know where the problems are, and I can help her if you want me to. Or you could kill me now, and it doesn't matter. I have nothing to lose. And he goes and he hesitates because he could lose his job. But then again, he's thinking, what can I do? And he grabs her by the arm and he says, you better not be toying with me. He's like, because you've already murdered that child. And she looks at him and he saw that she saw right through him, even though she had no eyes. And she said, who are you to accuse me of killing a child that was already dying, that was already in God's hands? And he felt that she saw him, that he fell down to his knees because he could also feel the Holy Spirit working through her. And he's just started crying because he's like begging her, now, please, you could do something for her. And all she did was just sit there with him, holding his hands. And she sent the energy to the daughter. And he felt it in himself that something had happened. He felt clearer. He felt the energy run through him as if he was also the channel to help heal his daughter. He knew. And it was done. And she continued and she said, it's okay if you have to do what you have to do for your job and your family. You can take my life. I have nothing to lose.
What does he do?
He ended up not being able to execute her, but told them to leave her in her cell for one more day because he had to see what had happened. And of course, everything was fine. The daughter was fine as if nothing had happened to her. She was not sick anymore.
Mm.
And he ran back to the prison and said that this woman is not a fraud. She has been wrongfully accused. And it took some convincing on the part to let her go. And he's like, she can't see anyway. So what good is she? She's just as good as dead, is what he told her. what he told the head of this prison. And so he agreed, playing into that storyline. And this guard took her because he was assigned to just take her out, to free her, like just kind of leave her for dead, if you will. But he allowed her to come to his home to get clean, giving her fresh linens, giving her food to eat, and restored his faith in something that he, in miracles, the things he couldn't see, but he felt it physically in his body manifest. And he found her a place in a home, and he knew that she would be okay because she technically didn't need her eyes anymore. She was able to see everything. And so she just continued to live her life and continued as she did. Back to the top of the mountain with her basket of fruit, gazing at the sunset, sunrise, whatever it was.
Beautiful.
And that was all.
Patricia, are you noticing anything?
I'm getting a knowing. I don't know, like I know these people. Something is telling me that the guy at the prison is my uncle. He loved me very much in this life. He used to work for prisons in this life. And he looked after me, even though I was his brother's daughter, he didn't care about. He went out of his way to look after me until the time he died. And I think the guy who released me, I don't know, I think it's my brother-in-law, because the words were similar to what he said to me. It's just at the moment now I can't remember the words. What are you smiling at? That's what he said to me once, accusing me of being a witch in this life. And I think possibly my ex-husband is the guy with the daughter who then shunned me and didn't care about me and knew my weaknesses and still turned a blind eye to my cries. I think that's what I see. That's what I'm hearing from within.
Very, very good. Very good. That makes complete sense.
This is really intense.
Yeah. It's okay. Allow yourself to feel it.
It feels so real. When I married to this life, it was very real.
Yes. Okay.
However, I just saw blank. I didn't get any pictures or anything. I just saw blank, which is strange because you should see something. Normally, I just see things, random things. But it was a solid blank. There is no way I would have seen what Karen has seen and experienced. There is no way, as you already know of my history with the dark and creepy crawlies. I'm still struggling with that. I'm trying very hard to keep this towel on me because I know you guys are here. But if I was on my own, I would have taken it off.
You are safe. You are safe. And you are loved. All is well. Okay. So we're going to close out this scene. Okay. And we're going to move to the next most important day and time that Patricia needs to know for her healing. So we're going to drift and float through time and space, finding the next most important day and time that Patricia needs to know for her healing. Drifting and floating, moving through time and space. 3, 2, and 1. Be there now and tell me what you notice.
I don't see anything.
Do you get any feelings?
No.
Okay. How about you, Karen?
For sure there is a big moon. I see moonlight. I see water. I see, like, the only colors that I see are like black and, like, midnight blue. There's trees, like those prickly green trees.
Pine trees?
Yeah. I don't know if this is like a lake or something. But it feels familiar, like as if, because I looked at my feet and they're paws again, so I think I'm that wolf again.
Okay.
I was just like drinking the water and gave like a bit of a howl because I felt like it. Each once in a while it would come out, it did. I could hear the echo of my voice. And I feel very confident. Like, even though it is open space and open land, I can take up space here. I allowed myself to howl so loud that I could hear it echo from the other side and back to me. And it didn't matter who heard me. I just felt very, again, I'm not feeling anything really like lonely or scared. I'm just here,
Mm-hmm.
doing what I want to do, taking a walk, not thinking. I just feel very peaceful here.
Very good. I want you both to gather that feeling of peace and bring it all into your body, filling up your cells with that peaceful energy. Really just being here now. And feeling that peace. Feeling it vibrate throughout your body. Replacing any fears or doubts with that peaceful energy. Is there anything else important about this scene with the wolf that we need to know?
I'm just feeling that she just needs to learn how to just let go and be here.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't have to try. She's beautiful and perfect as she is. And she can take up space. She's valuable. And she needs to recognize that in her.
Mm-hmm. What is preventing her from recognizing her power and her value?
It's just a core wound that's just playing out. A story in the background that just keeps on repeat, telling her that she's not good enough. She has to be a certain way to receive this love and validation. But she doesn't have to be any of that. She doesn't have to be good. She doesn't have to be bad. She doesn't have to be anything. She can just be herself, whatever that is. She is loved no matter what.
Very good. So I'm wondering if the higher self can show us any past lives she's had with her children, Bradley and Darren. So we're going to close out this scene and drift and float through time and space, visiting past lives that Patricia has had with her children. drifting and floating. 3, 2, and 1. Be there now. And tell me what you notice. What do you notice, Patricia?
It's a blank.
Okay. And Karen, are you getting anything?
Hearing chopping of wood, and I see a little house and this little girl, maybe 6 or 7, coming out and screaming and saying, "Boys, it's lunchtime." And when I look at the boys, they're not boys, they're old men. They're like maybe in their late 30s, 40s, like somewhere there. They're like lumberjacks, or they collect wood, and I hear one of them say, "Oh, the boss is calling. It's lunchtime." So they go in and they follow her in, and she's like, "Don't forget to wash your hands." So they go in and they wash their hands, and they chuckle, like, "And what did you make?" Feel like her name, they call her Lydia. And I'm trying to understand this, how this works. She made them sandwiches and tea. And these two are her uncles. I feel like her mother died or something, like she's not in the picture. Her 2 uncles are taking care of her, so she's being raised by them. And yes, so she makes them lunch, they sit down and they talk, and she's very mature, very, very mature. And they love her company. You can tell that they love her so much. One of them is called Danny and Robbie.
What is
And
lit? Go ahead.
Hold on, I'm trying to remember what they said. Yeah, I think one of them, they're just joking with her and saying, "You take care of us more than we take care of you." He said, "That's okay. I would do it again." I would do it again. And they just continue their lunch.
What does Lydia look like?
I'm trying to understand this time frame, because it's an isolated place. Uh, I feel like it's early 1900s.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Where does it feel like it is? Country.
it also feels European to me.
Mm-hmm.
How does she look? I see she's got like light skinned and long hair and a braid. She's wearing like a little nightgown. It's like a cold winter day.
And how do they
Dark
look?
brown eyes.
Mm.
Um, both have scruffy beards. Um, also light skin, like not so dark, like a nice tan.
Mm.
I can't really see their hair. It's under hats,
Mm-hmm.
but they're pretty tall. They look like they're over 6 feet because she really like maybe goes up to their like just maybe around by the belt.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Very nice. Did you get anything that came to you, Patricia, while she was describing that?
Probably I was going along with what Karen is saying,
Mm.
like a little house for blonde hair,
Mm.
wearing old clothes. They're two big men,
Mm.
very, very warm and friendly.
Mm.
Two friendly giants.
Do they?
And I feel warm and fuzzy thinking about that scene.
Mm. Very good.
And Darren wants a beard, so there we go. Definitely,
Mm.
definitely my boys.
Mm. And it seems like you cooked for them then too.
Yes, and they love my cooking. Oh, it's very touching.
Mm.
I can definitely resonate with that.
I
I
feel
definitely do.
beautiful. It feels like the same kind of energy as the chocolate cake and pancakes.
Yes. Yes. And they listen. Like Karen said, she called and they said,
Mm-hmm.
boss called. And that's exactly how my kids are like. They just get up and come down, no matter what they're doing.
Mm.
They're always so happy when I cook for them.
Mm. Beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, do you get a sense, Karen, of how many past lives they've had together?
Um, I'd say at least a dozen.
Mhm.
They're very strong bonds here that I'm feeling through all of them. Very familiar and similar roles.
Mhm.
I feel like those two have a lot of the time played brothers,
Mhm.
if not uncle and nephew, or they're interchanged. Majority of the time, they're masculine.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, always playing some kind of family or best friends, or yes, there's a very special bond there,
Mhm.
and somehow yes, Patricia's in there also, always
Mhm.
either playing a mom role. There's always like some kind of tie-in with these three. It's like a trio, a very strong trio.
Mhm. Is
And
this
it's very loving. It feels like it's she can always come home to this feeling with them.
Mhm.
It's true.
Is this why they get along so well and find it hard to connect with other people?
Yes, there's like a safety here. Like there's no trust outside of this circle. It's really just like we always learn to trust only ourselves. Know that no matter where you go in life, love will always be here.
Mhm.
Um, and you're always welcome back home. It's never like you can go. There's that freedom that you can go and venture out into the world, but you'll always be home here.
Mhm.
Or no matter where we are, we're always home together.
Mhm.
It's a very strong bond. And I feel it. Like I really, really feel it.
Mhm.
It's true.
Mhm. And what are the plans for this life between the three of them?
I feel together they will be able to venture out and say if they do decide to let people in, it's like a group thing, a group decision.
Mhm.
Um, because like I'm feeling in this old past life, like with the two uncles and the niece, like I feel like it's very much into like they have a pact together,
Mhm.
kind of type of like where we go when we go well.
Mhm. Very good.
So if they are going to make decisions, it's really just to get the okay for all and venture out into their adventure together and supporting each other through that transition and whatever they decide to seek out. But there's very strong support here that if one were to be brave enough to go out, the others will naturally support it. It's yeah, I feel like it's just I feel the unison here. There's like very rarely that there's any resistance. It's like because there's a huge like a big trust here. So if one decides something, it's like they trust that that is correct for all of them. Kind of like a slinky. Like I see that they just follow.
Mhm. Beautiful. Okay. Is there anything else important about this scene that we need to know?
Mm. No, they're just very happy and content, and I feel like this girl just feels safe, and they do too. Like they feel more full when she's home with them. There's a good balance in this home. And
Beautiful.
they will do anything and everything to protect her. Like she's really like their queen.
Brother used to call me queen.
Really?
That is not true.
Oh.
And I would say, no, don't call me queen. I'm not a queen.
You're their queen.
It's an amazing relationship we have. And it feels so, it stands out so much because everywhere we go, we can't find the same anywhere.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so we're going to close out that scene. And we're going to visit one more scene that Patricia needs to know for her healing, leaving it up to the higher self to guide us. The most important scene that Patricia needs to know, drifting and floating through time and space, drifting down, floating down. The most important scene that Patricia needs to know. 3, 2, and 1. Be there now and tell me what you notice.
I noticed a blue sky.
Blue sky, very nice.
And that's all I noticed.
Mm-hmm.
It's better than the blank wall
Very
before.
good.
It's now I see a bit of color.
Do you see clouds or no clouds?
Blue sky, the sun is out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the
Okay.
sky.
You're in the sky? Mm-hmm.
That's all I see.
Are you floating there?
It looks like I'm looking at the sky.
Okay. And when you bring your eyes down to you, do you have a body? Take a look at your feet.
All I can see is the sky and the sun.
Okay. Well, breathe in that fresh air. Feel the sun on your face. What is the temperature like?
Maybe about 19 degrees, 20. It's not a hot sun.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling like I'm on a hill.
You're on a
I'm
hill.
enjoying the sun on the hill.
Very nice.
Then looking up in the sky.
Mm. Do you feel any others around, or is it just you?
Just me.
Very
It
good.
feels beautiful and peaceful.
Lovely. So I want you to remember this feeling, taking it all in, this beautiful day, feeling peaceful, bringing all that peace into your body. And the cells will remember. Any other feelings come up?
No.
Okay, so you stay here on this hill, soaking up the peace and this beautiful sun. Allowing those rays from the sun to activate your cells, bringing you all the light codes that you need for your journey here on Earth. Activating your DNA, bringing you light. And I'm going to check in with Karen.
All I heard was like drums. Had like a beat, like I don't know how to do it. And it just keeps going and going and going. And I'm seeing what looks like I feel like it's native.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're having some sort of ceremony or something.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the granddaughter of this chief, he's kind of like welcoming her. I look in the eyes and it is Patricia here.
The granddaughter or the
Yeah,
chief? Okay.
the granddaughter. And they call her, I believe I don't know if again, I'm questioning this for myself, but yeah, they call her Tiger Lily.
Mm-hmm.
And she has like makeup on her face and she's dancing to the beat. Her and her grandfather are dancing together.
Mm-hmm.
And it just feels very like accepting. They're doing some kind of offering to the earth. And they're kind of like also dancing to do like some sort of like sun salutation or something to give thanks to like the sun god and giving thanks to the earth. And it's like her type of initiation. You could tell that this grandfather adores her, like deeply, deeply adores her. And he wants her to feel that in her, how much she's loved and she's perfect. I feel like there's like she has a bit of a disability. Like one of her, I believe it's her left leg or something. It looks skinnier than the other leg, but But he's telling her, he's like, it doesn't matter. Like, this was given to you as a gift. You are already perfect as you are. It doesn't matter who that is or what you think that is or what other people project onto you. They're only projections, and you don't have to believe in their projections. And he's making her look at herself in the mirror too. And he's like, what do you see in the mirror? And you could see her face, and you can also see the sky. You could see the trees behind. So she's naming all the things that she could see in the mirror. And he's like, exactly. He's like, you're everything in this mirror. There is no separation. You are as strong as those trees. You are limitless like the sky. That is the depth of you. And he's asking her, how far does the sky go? And she's like, I don't know. It goes far beyond the eyes can see. And he's like, exactly. That is only mirroring how far it goes within you. And he says, don't judge yourself based on what you feel or what you look like or don't focus on that. What's wrong with you? What you think is wrong with you. He's like, because I don't see that. I see your perfection. I see how beautifully you are architectured by God. And you could just see her beaming, like she was just smiling because she understood.
Mm-hmm.
That it didn't matter, that there were always going to be things in the way or like opinions or expressions by others outside of herself. But as long as she knew what she could see inside of herself or who she is, that she didn't have to prove anything otherwise. As long as she accepted who she is, how God made her, how he specifically designed her to be just this, as a perfect expression. Don't have to change anything. And so she continued the sun salutations, the dancing to the drums, and she stomped harder and harder and harder. And you could see that the dirt was starting to rise with the wind. She was creating wind with just her intention and movements. And that's how they celebrated.
Beautiful. Well, why is this scene important for Patricia to know?
So that she can let go of any projection or opinion that has ever happened outside of her that made her think or deny who she is or her potential, that made her feel that she was lesser than.
Mm-hmm.
There was always something better waiting for her through every rejection, through the accumulation of that trauma,
Mm-hmm.
There was always something, it was just revealing something greater in her to bring her down to that suffering, to tell her that she's a warrior, that she's able to suffer so bad and come out the other way and still be good, still have her heart wide open, still have the ability to love or forgive and expand.
Beautiful. Do you have any feelings with that, Patricia?
Yes. That definitely feels like my grandfather.
Mm.
He was always encouraging us every time he came to the city.
Mm.
He always used to protect me from my mom, my grandmother.
Mm.
She would always reassure me to listen to them. That is so true. He would always say what a good person, what a good girl I am.
Mm.
He would always bring nice things for us, for me and my sister. But he was always somebody I looked forward to when he showed up, like a ray of hope, a ray of light, always
Mm.
encouraging, always to the end. And he is the chief in this life.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
It's beautiful, honestly. It's just like my life being interpreted.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Oh my God. It's so amazing.
Mhm. Okay, so I'm going to ask that you both now connect with Patricia's higher self. And what we can do is imagine that you're standing back at that lake where the wolf is, and the moon is out, and you can see all the stars in the sky. And I want you to find the brightest star. And this star starts to move closer and closer to you. It moves all the way down through the sky. And it's now right in front of you. And it takes form as your higher self. Whatever that looks like, there is no wrong or right. This beautiful light being. And it walks toward you and merges with your body and your heart. And we are now fully connected with Patricia's higher self. So the first question I'm going to ask is, why were we shown the very first scene where In a past life, she was accused of being a witch and killing a child and was thrown in prison, only to be visited by the Holy Spirit and given real sight through her third eye, and eventually released and let go to continue living her life. What was the importance of seeing that scene? What comes to you, Patricia?
Like I said before, I just got an inner knowing, especially the characters, how similar they are, the ones from that scene to the ones in this life. Like I had a very definite, strong feeling of who they are. I don't know whether I know what I'm saying or not, but I feel like maybe that happened in the past and they came back in this life to make things right. Some of them failed. With regards to my ex-husband and his brother. However, my uncle, he managed to show me love and to accept me, to love me. I think that's what he came into my life to do, to just be a pillar of light. Because that's what he's been.
Very good. Karen, what came to you?
That it didn't matter what happened to her. She was able to thrive anyway, and I really felt that deep surrender in her. Like really, like whatever will be, will be. Because she was so touched by the Holy Spirit that it didn't matter anymore. Whether she stayed there or not, or if she died, or she was blessed. And those characters that came in were just showing her the reasons for why she has lost trust. But then there are characters in which that will come in when she is so connected to herself and surrender that they will see her and she will see them. Like it's like again a mirror.
So when she really surrendered in that prison, she was able to have that feeling of nothing to lose, and then connected with that other character who actually ended up helping her.
Yes. So she got back her gift of sight, even if she had no eyes. She was able to really hone in her gifts and live directly from the soul. and it knew no more suffering.
Does she still carry this blessing from the Holy Spirit?
Yes,
It is within her?
yes,
Does this life also explain her fear of the dark and spiders?
yes.
Mm.
She's
And
just carrying that old feeling before she was touched by the Holy Spirit. That fear of being betrayed, that fear of being, alone, of losing her family, of losing herself, for being accused, wrongfully accused, for being stripped away of everything. It's all associated with this fear of the dark. That's what it feels like. These are all dark things to her.
Mhm.
So it's not just the literal dark, it's the dark things as well that add to it. It's all those emotions that are playing in this place, in this space here.
Mhm. Well, a lot of these things repeated in this life, the betrayals, the feeling of alone, the losing of family, the losing of self. Um, did she choose to replay this life, or why is this repeating?
Again, so she can see that there is another side. And I'm being shown also again the mirror that this Indian chief is showing her to look at herself. Her true power is all within, so she can get over everything.
Mm-hmm.
She will defeat all of it, and she'll again rise. So it's like again also showing me that she's on top of that mountain looking at the sun,
Mm-hmm.
and she is eye to eye with the sun here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, beautiful symbology that came after we visited a couple lives, and it felt really like a triumphant moment there.
Yes.
Very good. So after visiting this scene today and seeing where the root cause of these things come from, is Patricia ready to let go of that past life now?
Yes.
Very good. Are these feelings of fear and betrayal and isolation and loss, are they still being held in the body?
No.
Very good. Okay. So another question. Why did Patricia choose to incarnate into her immediate family, meaning her mother, father, the family she grew up in? Why did she choose that family for this life?
I don't see anything.
Do you get any feelings? Do you hear any words?
I don't feel anything for it. not no feelings, which is strange.
Okay.
I don't feel anything for that.
Okay. Karen, do you get anything?
I feel like there's a recurring theme in her lives where they just kind of like, I feel like they just strip her down and then it's like she remembers who she is after the fact. It's just kind of, again, I'm being brought back to the first scene where she starts off on this mountain looking at the sun and it ended the same way. Except she was more of an empowered version, even though she may have been physically left with, all that torture and whatnot. She recovered and was even stronger.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like these things that happen to her, the families she chooses are kind of like in the same context in which that they strip from her, but that she always comes out stronger. So it's really getting her to a place where she is empowering herself. She's using these challenges as stepping stones to empower herself.
So her soul chose this family as a way to break her down so that she could then build herself back up and remember how to empower herself.
Yes, it's like they themselves like try to take her down or whatever it is, but again, it's her resilience, her soul resilience is incredible.
Mm-hmm. But we also saw today, which I think is beautiful, that they weren't all bad. She did have her grandfather and an uncle that was loving towards her. And there were characters there to show her encouragement and support along the way. So I feel like that was just reminding her of those people, that not everyone, that you don't have to mistrust everyone, that there are people you can trust. Okay. So what was the plan with her ex-husband Lloyd? What was the soul plan there? Just settling into that question. And seeing what comes to you.
I'm getting to learn forgiveness.
Beautiful.
That's all.
Has Patricia learned forgiveness? Has Patricia learned that forgiveness? Has she been able to forgive Lloyd?
Yes.
Very good. And
Doesn't
how?
feel like I know. It doesn't feel like I know. Because if it was a no, it would have stood out.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have felt it.
Very good.
It's definitely a yes.
Okay. And what were the soul plans with her mother? What was she supposed to learn from her mother?
To be strong.
To be strong.
That's what I just call.
Okay. Very good. Did she learn that lesson?
Learning. Learning.
Very good. What does she need to do to complete that lesson?
To not be afraid.
What is she afraid of?
People.
People.
What they think of.
What they think. And how does she learn not to be afraid of people's opinions and judgments? How can she learn to trust people again?
Getting a sense that I should love them.
Mm. Love them.
Yes.
Very good. Karen, are you picking up anything?
Mm, I'm getting almost like pretty much the same things.
Okay.
That she can start to trust herself first, always, and strengthen herself through the inside, from within herself.
Mm-hmm.
So that way she'll be able to know what she accepts and doesn't. So she'll make boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
clear boundaries. So when she's comfortable in her own skin and really empowers herself, then she will mirror that. What she will see on the outside will be just that. She's going to mirror others that are like her.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll be able to feel that, to trust herself and those that come around. She'll be able to question others and their intentions, and she'll feel it. She's very highly intuitive, so she will know.
Mm-hmm.
But she'll attract them less, the people who she's feeling are more prevalent. But it's a lot of inner work inside that she has to do to learn how to trust herself and to know that not everybody is evil or cruel. There are people out there that have the same type or who are seeking her. Whatever she's seeking is seeking her back.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Very good. Okay. Are there any soul contracts that she still has which are not serving her highest good? What do you feel into that?
I don't know.
Okay. Karen?
I'm feeling that the soul contracts that she may have are, again, just mirroring within her the things that she needs to learn from. And when she learns that lesson, they will dissolve on its own. So I feel that they all do serve a purpose. There's none that are not of the negative nature. They're there always to mirror something so that she can heal and strengthen herself. Always coming back to the inside of her.
Mm-hmm.
And just allowing that power inside of her to expand outward, and so that way those karmic relationships will drop away naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Because once the lesson is complete, they no longer have a purpose, or the relationship will evolve into something greater.
Mm-hmm. And she doesn't have to choose these karmic contracts for next life.
No.
Because it's always a choice.
Yes.
Okay. Patricia wants to know why she's getting more and more sensitive to people and animals. Feel into that question. Does anything come to you, Patricia, about your sensitivity?
It was to help me to heal.
Mm. How so? How does the sensitivity help heal?
Because I was reading things wrong.
Mm. Okay. Very good.
Trying to tell me. Trying to show me that I need to. I'm seeing things wrong.
So you're getting more sensitive so that you'll be able to read things better.
Now to go within and heal.
To go within and heal. Okay.
And then the sensitivities will go away.
Oh, okay. Very good. So, in the meantime, how can she manage these sensitivities better?
Stay grounded.
Mm. Stay grounded. Very good. Do you have any advice for her on how to stay grounded?
Know who you are,
Mm.
that you're powerful. Nobody can hurt you.
Beautiful. Thank you. Patricia wants to know, does she still have a lot of karma to work out?
I'm not sensing anything.
Okay. You get anything, Carol?
Everything that she needs to learn karmically is already mirrored within her. So once she does the healing inside, they will be done. So everything, all her challenges or things that she's going through now in her healing is already, she already knows what they are.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it seems like the first half of her life up until now was all karmic stuff, and it feels to me like she's in this transition period. Is that true?
Yes.
Where she's healing all of that karmic stuff now, and then once she gets through that, she can then create the life that she wants.
Yes.
Okay.
She'll be well adapted. Her sensitivity will not leave, but it will be normal to her and well adapted within.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Patricia has a lot of anxiety around people. What can you tell her about this anxiety? What is the root cause of this?
Are you still there?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to sense from within.
Okay.
The only thing that keeps coming up is the past.
The past. Mm-hmm. And how is the past influencing her current anxiety?
She keeps going back to the past.
Mm. And this is making her anxious.
Relating to the past.
Mm. And so relating her current situation to the past.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So what should she do instead?
Forget the past.
Mm.
Forgive. Move on.
Thank you.
And live.
Beautiful. Mm. So live more in the present moment.
Yes. That's
Very.
what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Definite past. Let go of it.
Mm-hmm. Will that will
That's
that
it.
will that be easy for Patricia to do now?
She's ready.
She's ready. Very good. Anything come to you, Karen?
Yeah, there's like a fear
Mm.
because a lot of this trauma has happened in childhood, and so there's that part of her that seeks out that safety, and she couldn't get that from her own family.
Mm-hmm.
And they're the ones who are supposed to build that foundation of safety to which she has never felt it and
Mm-hmm.
stable.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's this distrust again, like if I can't trust my own family, then who can I trust?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of that anxiety around that, not being able to know who she can trust. So again, it's that logical mind is thinking again, like, if I can't trust my own family, then who can I?
And how does she move on from this?
Like she said, forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of forgiveness over and over and over again, because it's not just one singular event, it is many events.
Mm-hmm.
So in her healing of her childhood, she will have to face either feelings of memories that she may or may not remember. Through the healing, it may open up blocked memories that she may have to face. But to know that it's done and it's in the past and it happened and she's still here and loved and safe. And to be able to forgive again and begin again, forgive and begin again every time, and to know that she's safe. She has to remind herself that she is safe. Her kids are safe. The very basics of her life are met. And she has more than enough today, right now. Everything. She has built all of this on her own without nobody's help. And even if she gets dragged to the past, I'm seeing like it's as if it's kind of like she's chained to certain events or remembrances. That she can cut herself free from it. That it doesn't have to hold her. They don't have hold on her anymore. She just has to remember where she is right now. And again, plant herself in the present, remembering who she is, not having to stay into those old stories. They're old memories and they're not here anymore.
And we did see that her soul planned it this way. So can Patricia find forgiveness for herself for planning it this way?
She needs to learn.
She needs to learn to find forgiveness.
Yes.
How can she learn to find forgiveness for herself?
Face the past. With courage. Try to learn from it. Hold on to those lessons.
Can you say that again?
Hold on to those lessons. To know that the past is past. It cannot be changed.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Anything you want to add, Karen?
I keep hearing, remember who you are. Despite all the stories and the labels and the false sense of self, I keep getting brought back to, again, the mountain and the sunset or the sun, whatever it is. Because I remember, which I forgot to mention at the end, when she was free and back in this place, that they had known of all the miracles or the miracles that she did or whatever, or how she helped others, and they saw her as like the prophet.
Can she pull forward today those gifts from that life? Tapping into those prophetic abilities and healing capabilities that she had.
Yes. I don't
Okay.
feel like it's anything that is going to be difficult. I feel like she already has this kind of knowing in her that she's very compassionate. It works, it comes out through her compassion. And it doesn't seem like anything special. It just feels part of her, something that she feels is common sense to use. Well, that would make the most sense to do, is what I kind of hear. Like, no questions asked, but that is the gift.
Mm-hmm. But it doesn't feel special to her because it's just who she is. It's just normal.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And it's why people feel comfortable around her.
Yes.
Mm. Will she learn to use this in time to help others?
Yes. When she starts to trust the process, and well, they're showing me the unlayering of the onion. So really peeling off all the old, like shedding old skin
Mm-hmm.
to reveal her true authenticity.
Mm-hmm. Very good. So she wants to know about the hirsutism and acne. Is this related to a past life?
I'm not sensing anything.
Okay. Just asking the higher self to show us if this is connected to a past life. Do you get anything, Carol?
I'm seeing like a fast forwarded version, but like a finger in the face or something, but like, from a maternal figure, but an elder, maybe like a grandmother also saying,
Hmm.
like, you're so ugly.
Hmm.
You're so ugly. So I keep hearing that finger. So it's as if like the way I'm interpreting that, it's kind of like a spell or something, or wand. The finger. You're so ugly.
Hmm. Is this a current life or past life?
I don't know, like it feels old though.
Did your grandmother say that to you, Patricia?
Never had nothing nice to say. Was not a nice person.
Okay. So is this a spell that can be broken today?
Yes, I feel yes. I'm seeing Jesus nod. Yes.
Did Patricia take this on subconsciously from the grandmother? This
Yes, as if
spell.
she's like playing out the storyline so that again there's that part of her that is like, well, if I just agree with what she says, then maybe they'll leave me alone.
Hmm.
There's that part of her that believes.
That she's ugly.
Yeah, there's like a block there. Or
Is
hesitancy to accept that she's beautiful.
Mhm. Is Patricia ready to release this old past belief that she is ugly?
Yes.
Yes. And where is this belief held in the body?
face.
And what color would this belief be? You're so ugly. What color is that?
Black.
Black. Does it have a temperature?
Cancer.
A texture?
Like cloud, like smoke.
Smoke. And I want you to imagine reaching into your face and taking out this black smoke and holding it in your hands. Taking all of it out. You don't need it anymore. And just holding it in your hands. And now I want you to imagine, what would you like to turn it into instead of this belief that you're so ugly? What would you like to replace it with?
You are so loved.
You are so loved. So holding this in your hands, we're going to spin it. Imagine spinning it as fast as you can. So spinning it until it gets lighter and lighter and lighter. Lighter and lighter and lighter. Spinning it faster and faster and faster and lighter and lighter and lighter until it's as light as it can get. So just keep spinning and spinning and spinning. Seeing it getting lighter and lighter, turning into love. What color is it now?
A bright white.
Bright white. Beautiful. So we're going to place this back into your face where that old belief was. In 3, 2, 1. All of that beautiful white light, you are so loved, is filling up every single cell in your body, starting in your face, moving up to your head, going down your chest now, into your heart, down your arms and spine, filling up trillions and trillions of cells with that bright white light, feeling the warmth and the vibration, filling up each and every cell of your body, moving down into your torso and pelvis, filling up 50 trillion cells in the body, moving down your legs now, that brilliant white light, all the way down to your tippy toes, filling up every single cell in the body with that brilliant white light. You are so loved, feeling that in your body now, and allowing it to come all the way back up from the tips of your toes, back up your legs, into your pelvis and torso, back into your heart and chest, down your arms, and back up into your throat and face and head. And how does that feel now?
Amazing.
Beautiful. Very good.
It almost feels like that's what she's always been wanting to say.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't know how to.
Mm-hmm. She didn't know how to. Beautiful. Okay. So we saw that Patricia carried over this fear of the dark and spiders. We saw what caused this from this life. that she lived where she was thrown in prison. How can we fix this today?
And getting clear and transmute negative energy created during that time.
Transmute the negative energy created.
Clear,
Clear.
transmuted.
Clear and transmute. And where is that energy held in the body?
Chest.
Chest. Okay, very good. And what color is that energy? First thing that comes to you.
Dark blue.
Mm-hmm. Dark blue. And what emotions are associated with that besides fear? Anxiety.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Worry.
Worry.
Dread.
Dread. What else?
Sadness.
Sadness. Mm-hmm. And what else?
Unsafe.
Unsafe. Mm-hmm. What else?
Alone.
Alone. What else?
Unwanted.
Unwanted.
Invisible.
Invisible. Mm-hmm.
Judged.
Judged. Mm-hmm. And what else?
Unaccepted.
Unaccepted. Mm-hmm. Anything else?
No. No.
Okay. Okay. So we're going to tap. Just cross your arms. Just crossing your arms, Patricia.
My arms feel heavy.
Mm. Okay, we'll tap for you. Just imagining this blue color. You can spin the color. So while we're tapping, you can spin the color. Okay, just imagining. You can relax. Okay, just imagining that dark blue color turning lighter and lighter as we tap. Okay. And repeating after me. There's a part of me
There's a part of Patricia.
that knows how to
There's a part of that knows how to
Let go and heal
let go and heal
this fear,
this fear,
anxiety,
anxiety,
worry,
worry,
dread,
dread,
sadness,
sadness,
unsafe,
safe,
alone,
alone,
unwanted,
unwanted,
invisible,
invisible,
judged,
judged,
unaccepted.
unaccepted.
That part of my being
That part of my being
is willing to
is willing to
inform the rest of me now.
inform the rest of me now.
It's doing so now
It's doing so now.
with unlimited love,
Unlimited love,
grace, and ease.
grace, and
My mind,
my mind,
body, and spirit
body, spirit,
are receiving the love,
receive love,
healing,
healing,
information,
from information,
permission,
permission,
and deep relief now.
and complete relief now.
Take a deep breath. And let that go. Experience healing and insight. And repeat after me. Information transfer
Information transfer
is now complete.
is now complete.
So be it.
So be it.
It is done.
It is done.
How does that feel?
Free, amazing.
Beautiful. Very good.
Trying to feel my heart area. My heart area.
What does it feel like?
Feel something has shifted.
Should we do it again? Or is that enough?
Feels like something has shifted.
Okay.
I keep hearing a voice saying to remember that you are the light. You don't need to be afraid of the dark anymore. You have to remember that you are the light. Nothing is going to hurt you. God is always with you.
Very good. Patricia says she desires to meet a soulmate who is truly heart-based. Is this in her plan to meet this person?
Don't sense anything.
Mm-hmm.
I just sense comfort.
Mm. Well, that's lovely. What do you get, Carol?
I'm seeing there is a very handsome fellow, but she can't see him because she still has to do a lot of work on herself.
Mm.
But I feel like it's going to accelerate. Her healing is going to go quick.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the blocks that are in the way. She can't see him yet because those blocks are still in the way of her vision.
Mm-hmm.
But he's there on the other side.
Very good. So her healing will accelerate after this session today?
Yes. She'll find this new sense like of a mission. Mm-hmm. She has her own mission to, and she'll feel motivated because she knows on the other side of it, she's free. She knows she is free. She just has to choose to be free. And everything will just drop so fast.
Very good. So I'm going to ask what the higher self, what is the root cause of her fibroids?
These fibroids were created to, like they're holding her emotions and baggage here.
Mm.
So she's like stuffed down a lot of feelings. Again, in the past, she's coming into that safety. It always comes back to feeling safe. So to know that it is safe to have emotions and to feel through it, there's nothing, again, wrong with her. But it'll come with that whole line of forgiveness of, again, forgiving that voice, those stories that keep her small.
Mm-hmm.
That she doesn't have to stuff down her feelings anymore. She can just allow them to be so that she could feel right through it in the present moment and let them pass naturally. Because there's an automatic system that she's created for herself because of what happened in the past. So every time she feels like a scary emotion, she stuffs it down. She doesn't want to feel it because she automatically gets triggered or feeling like there's something wrong with her.
Mm.
But to learn that there's nothing wrong with her.
Mm-hmm.
Feelings are part of a natural thing of being human, of the experience.
Mm-hmm.
All emotions are actually quite beautiful when you can accept them all.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it comes into forgiveness that those who told you that it is not right, We're only repeating that same pattern of what they were taught to, that it's not okay to feel these things, but it is okay. You're completely allowed and valid. You're allowed to feel sad or angry. They're natural. It's a natural thing to feel. And you know that when you do feel it, it passes so much quicker.
Mm-hmm. And to remember that you aren't those feelings. You are the sky, and those feelings are just passing through like clouds. Remember that beautiful sky with the sun shining down.
Mm.
That is who you are.
Mm. Yes.
Yes. So, is there anything that we didn't ask that the higher self would like Patricia to know today?
The grandfather, again, is coming forward, and he says, if you get a chance or something to, if you're outside, to take a look in the mirror and do the exact same thing that he did to you in that scene where you see yourself and the limitless of who you are through the reflection of the sky.
Beautiful. I'm going to bring you both back to your bodies now. We are grateful to the higher self, and we thank you.